once again, I just want to reiterate to everyone, and I'll look right in the camera when I say this, please don't take a drastic step, because there are people that care for you. You don't even know it. My name is Matt Donald. I'm a certified lead carpenter and musician, songwriter, full-time dad, always. So yeah, this is my second time doing this, and I'm glad to be back. Since the first time, I've had a lot of stuff really make me realize how great this program that you're doing is. I just found out this morning about the fourth person that I know. This is a peripheral person, but fourth person that I've known this year alone that has taken their own life. And it's just really, it's devastating in a lot of ways. The first one was a really good friend of mine who I've known for 25 years. Looked up to this guy. He was a radio DJ back in the late 80s, early 90s up in Michigan. My wife introduced me to him, as well as a lot of other friends that we have. She's from Michigan. And this is somebody that when I made an album, I sent him the original outtakes, and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "Oh, I really like this track. These tracks, what are you doing, man?" I mean, and he was just that honest with me. He's just like, I see that you're playing with the effects and it's fun and everything, but where's that guy that I know? I mean, your voice is so saturated, just strip that out of there, that kind of stuff. And he was just always really honest and real with me. And I had no idea he was struggling at all, ever. I never knew that. A couple of my friends led on that he had the winter blues pretty hard for a long, long time. And I never really saw him in the winter, so it was not something that I knew about. So for me, it kind of came out of left field. And the people who knew him better all were pretty shocked as well. I mean, his family's upset and angry and all of those things that go along with it. So that's the thing is, I'm torn, because a lot of times I'm mad because he did this. He had the wherewithal to leave notes and names. Went outside to take care of business, so to speak. But he didn't ever call anybody or talk to anybody. He lived in a pretty rural area, worked from home most of the time, so he was alone a lot. And I know what that's like, to get caught up in your head, because you start believing the things that you're thinking. And if you're in a dark place, then those dark thoughts are your reality. And that is just a scary, scary thought in a lot of ways. So, it's, I'm also struggling with the fact that, I had no idea. I was, and then I think about the guy that I knew, to think about him being in such a dark place that this was his answer in the long run. So it's taken a toll on me in a lot of ways, and it's kind of thrown me in a funk. I mean, I've been in kind of a limbo, so to speak. I mean, some days I get depressed from time to time. But my depression looks different than a lot of other people's. Mine tends to be lashing out and angry type. It's not what people think, I'm just depressed. I've been that way too, but that was more in my teens. As I've gotten older, it's more of I think I get angry that I'm feeling that way, and so that's what comes out. It's like, I don't want to feel this way. So I've been working and struggling on keeping my attitude positive. If you spend a lot of time on your own and you are suffering from those dark thoughts, you start believing them. You start listening to them, and you start going, okay, well, that's the way it is. And I have another good friend who also friends with my buddy Brian, who said, depression lies to you all the time. It tells you things that aren't true, and you believe them. because that's just where your mental state is at the time. And she said, I've been lucky enough to have realized that at a younger age, because she too suffers from that. The more I talk about this with people, the more I realize it is out there. It is not just a few people. It is probably the majority of the people out there. And our society doesn't help because we're more and more and more isolated. It's like all of the shades of gray have been completely erased, and it's either black or white. And I don't mean that in a racial way. I just mean that in on paper. It's like it's either this way or it's that way. It can't be any way in between. So you either believe this or you believe this. And that is not the way it is, because when you really sit down and think about what is it that I believe, there are so many layers to that. Some of the other things that I've realized I've been neglecting is getting out and playing music in front of people like I've done all along. It was so incredibly powerful and healing for me to do that after my whole cancer ordeal, to get out there and play. It was very life-giving. I mean, the fact that I met you over at Avondale Town Cinema doing the open mics, that was a lifeline. I was like, wow, this is great. These people are wonderful. The songs are awesome. This is just good atmosphere. That was a really wonderful little period of time where something very positive was happening for me personally. And I think everybody else involved too. I mean, a lot of the people that I met through there tend to be some pretty good friends of mine all of a sudden. So that's pretty cool. So I realized that I hadn't been doing that. I kind of closed off a little bit. After his funeral, we had this big show. I haven't really played out since. That's been over a month now. So I'm going to take this guitar and go and play at an open mic or two tonight. So, the anger part, yes, that is a selfish point of view, but I'm angry because I knew this guy so well, and he didn't do this to me. He did it to himself. So that's the flip side of that. Start thinking about how he was thinking, might have been feeling, and and then I get sad because it's, to be that deep and dark into something that's the most logical option. Personally, I hope I never get there. I had one time when I was a teenager and realized very quickly that was not what I wanted to do. So I hope I never get back there again. And I know there's plenty of people that struggle with this on a daily basis. And those who get up, fight the fight, get up again the next day and fight the fight all over again, those are the real heroes. I mean, I keep saying it. You just never know what people are struggling with. You don't know what they're going through. All right, so the song I'll share with you today is a song I wrote post-surgery. I told you about this a little while ago off camera, but it was one of the lowest points because going through all the cancer treatments, getting to that point, the end game was the surgery. The end game really was the recovery from the surgery. It was something about 6 to 8 weeks of recovery. Didn't sound like a big deal until I was recovering, and I struggled with that. There were some very painful setbacks, not major by any means, but so in that time I was grasping at all of the positives. So this song is called "There's Love Here," and it's about 4 specific people in my family. One is my brother, who passed of natural causes way too young. He was 19. And my wife and my 2 children. So I call it "There's Love Here." of oblivion. Little things remind me of you. I think of you. Watching and waiting and listening now. Silver and gold in a drop of dew. Forever you. And love here. Watching the playful birds in air. They swoop and they twitter, they caw and coo. Forever you. I see you